One weekend ago, I was reminded of what someone once told me. You can always walk around the block and start again. Meditation practitioners are encouraged to take retreats or spend extended periods away from the normal grind of life in order to reinvigorate and deepen their practice. These retreats can be as short as one weekend or as long as several months. Some travel as far away as India or Korea, Thailand or Nepal to find both inspiration and the peaceful space needed to work with themselves. Then there are folks like myself who try to do the same amidst the frenzied bustle and honking horns of Manhattan.
I used to be a science teacher, but last year when I was homesick watching Oprah, I tripped over the remote on my cluttered apartment floor. And at the exact moment that I sprained my wrist while trying to stop myself from plummeting into the wall unit and destroying my flat screen, Lady O was announcing,
"Everything happens for a reason! No, no, no!"
You can't argue with signs like that. My wrist was telling me something. I immediately quit my job and became a spiritual seeker.
The focus of last weekend's retreat was what in Buddhist speak is called Tonglen, which translates as sending and receiving. It's a particular meditative practice that works on cultivating compassion for everyone, with a wish for all people to be happy and free of any suffering.
Donning my gold-trimmed harem pants, tank top, and 6-foot chiffon scarf, batiked with hawks and foxes, my power symbols, I head for the free trade rainforest-friendly vegan deli 3 blocks away. As I stoop to pat a Portuguese water dog who has made deep and meaningful eye contact, perhaps channeling the spirit of my late grandfather, a playful breeze catches my scarf and it flutters into the spokes of a speeding bicycle messenger. How blatant this message, I think, just before my skull hits the pavement.
In Tonglen, the practitioner visualizes taking onto him or herself the suffering of others on the in-breath and on the out-breath, giving happiness and well-being in return. This willingness to open and feel the pain of others is an incredibly powerful and courageous practice because we're so used to running away from discomfort of any form. Here, we're actually inviting it.
I regain consciousness in the back of a speeding ambulance. Remembering the circumstances, I try to scan the faces of the attendants. It's difficult as my head is immobilized. Still, I have a strong suspicion that the universe orchestrated this incident so that I would meet someone, maybe a paramedic. One leans over me.
"You awake, girlie?"
I get a strong whiff of salmon cream cheese and a much too close view of his nose hairs. Okay, maybe I'm going to meet someone at the hospital.
Ultimately, where a practitioner or any person should start his journey to change the world begins with oneself. This retreat, consequently, came at a poignant moment, for I too needed to be more forgiving and compassionate to myself. In the practice of Tonglen, practitioners are encouraged to send gentle kindness not only to others but also to themselves.
I'm examined by an extremely skinny 50-something female doctor. She insists on calling me Isadora, as in Duncan. Haha, sort of. Sarcasm is such a downer. I try to protect myself from her negative energy by visualizing a gold shield of love embracing my body. I pray silently for her to find true happiness, or at least a meal that includes more than celery sticks and a diet water.
For the past several weeks, I have felt increasingly unbalanced and unsettled, tired and run over. Between long hours at work and my habit of going to bed late, I began to bypass my morning workout in favor of that coveted extra hour of sleep. With deadlines to meet, on the weekends I wasn't even able to hang out with my friends as often as I'd like, or photograph the city landscape, a deep passion of mine. The plain and simple truth is that I had just fallen into a rut, a ditch along the road. My mind and heart were not in sync.
Inside an MRI scanner, I imagine myself in a cozy chrysalis. This must be it, my sign from the universe. I am meant to emerge transformed. I concentrate on ignoring the jackhammer sounds of the machine so as to be alert to the updates from my spirit guides. When my scan is deemed normal, I chuckle to myself. If only they knew I am an emergent butterfly. During the wait, I scanned 32 back issues of Newsweek looking for a sign. I'm not sure yet, though The message may have something to do with credit default swaps and/or Lady Gaga.
The popular idea of survivorship is that after a cancer experience, life is somehow smoother or free of most, if not all, of our normal everyday struggles. Having smelled the scent of death, we survivors cherish deeply this new lease on life. Yet, in light of the hell out of which we just crawled, we're still human and in surprising ways find ourselves doing some of the stupid things that we thought we'd overcome. Yes, even we on occasion need to be reminded of the road we have traveled.
I'm cleared to go home. And just as I leave the ER, a major thunderstorm erupts. Aha! This newly emerged butterfly is being cleansed by the heavens. I eagerly turn my face up to receive my baptism when a large particle of grit plummets into my eye. Wait, this means something. And now that I think about it, can wet butterflies soar? I'm jammed between two men talking Yankees. One has a Brazilian accent, very eat, pray, love. I edge a little closer, meshing my aura with his. As I invade his personal space, he turns slightly and checks me out. I grin dreamily, assuming he will see past the swollen eye still tearing from the grit particle and the gauze pad taped on my head and my muddy harem pants to gaze upon my glowing soul. As he quickly averts his eyes, I inhale his rain-enhanced scent. My mind flashes. Single, straight, handsome, sexy, successful businessman looking for love. It feels right. Thanks, universe, for orchestrating the zillion small events that led me and Senior Wright to this very patch of sidewalk.
One of cancer's greatest gifts may be in reminding us of the tremendous strength that we never imagined we had. It is in this spirit of courageous hope that we begin to view cancer not as an all-out enemy, but simply a challenge to be overcome. I know this is easier said than done, especially in the midst of the shock and stress of treatment. In what we hope will be a long and rich life, we acknowledge that our journey will be filled with moments of pain and joy, suffering and happiness. Cancer just happens to be one of these moments.
A cab pulls up to the curb and he leaps aside. I'm doused with a wave of lumpy New York gutter water. As he strides away, I ponder my melancholy lesson. All relationships, even with soulmates, are ultimately transient. But then I note with glee that my sodden scarf, rescued from the bike messenger spokes by the paramedics and returned to me at the hospital, is now plastered to my wet, filthy neck. No more errant fluttering. It's a sign for sure.
Meditating on the cushion during the retreat, our instructor told us that if we had difficulty visualizing the sending of loving kindness to our subject, we should focus on our heart center. Feel, press your heart, he said to us. I put my hand over my chest, searching for its beat. There it is. Its beat is beautiful, raw, unfiltered. It is nature at its most elemental. It is life. It is me. Yet I could not recall when I had last taken a moment to feel its sweet pumping. I immediately felt more grounded and relaxed. At this moment, all was right with me and the world. This is it. This is what it's all about, nothing more. In sync with my heart center, I began to send wishes of happiness and well-being to myself, having been reminded that regardless of what I felt or did before, I can always walk around the block and start again.
I walk home, thanking my power animals for seeing me through this transformative day. Back at the apartment, I take a long, hot shower and try to sort out the numerous signs and symbols with which I've been bombarded. Everything happens for a reason. A cup of pomegranate chamomile tea will settle my spirit. Still dripping, I grab for the plug on the electric kettle and stick it into the wall.